So here is my 1933 Rolls-Royce 2025. Well, we've been having some problems with the clutch, and I've been trying to find a way of addressing these. It's slipping slightly and it's got a slight judder on it. And in discussing it with those who know, from the Vintage Garage up in Vermont and from Fines in the UK, they suggested fitting some heavier clutch springs. And I couldn't find any guidance on how to do this job, either on the Rolls-Royce Owners Club website or in the technical literature. So I thought I could make a video showing other people how I sort of fumbled my way through the job. It took me about 8 hours to do it, and it starts off a bit shaky, but it gets better. So please have a look at it, see what you think, and give me your feedback. Thank you. So here we are in the floorboards out on a 2025, looking to replace the clutch springs. The clutch has been slipping slightly, and before it gets too bad, I thought it had a very good clutch plate in it, so we're going to put some of these new heavy clutch springs that are sold from Fines in the UK. I'm going to try and put those in, and as you can see, we've taken the inspection cover off the bell housing, and we can see here the spring plugs caps that are sitting there on the back of the clutch assembly. And if you can see down there, you can see one of the fingers down there which actuates the actual clutch plate itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to, I believe, undo these caps and take the old clutch springs out and replace them with these new ones. And we've taken a pressure reading on the clutch pedal, and it's about between 30 and 40 pounds to depress the clutch currently, crudely measured on a pair of bathroom scales. But we'll try measuring that again with the new clutch springs in and see what sort of difference it's made, see how much, one, if it's made the clutch too heavy to use, and secondly, if it's actually stopped the clutch from slipping. The problem was that the take-up on the pedal was right at the top of the pedal treble, so I just knew it was going to get worse. So we'll see how it goes. Let's see what happens when we take these plugs out. So to get the caps off, I had to use a long extension with a breaker bar on the end, because it's underneath the dashboard. There just wasn't enough room underneath there to get any weight behind the bar to get it undone. And I had to have an assistant on the other end of the crankshaft to stop the engine going around, because even though I had it in fourth gear, the clutch plate was still moving, and I guess that I wouldn't know whether that was just putting an unusual force on the clutch plate, so it was actually slipping. So I'm not quite sure what the outcome from this is going to be, but we'll see. So this is what the clutch spring looks like when it's taken out. You can see there's the cap with a number stamped on the top of it, and then there's a spring that goes down from there, and it's actually, this is undone, but it's actually under compression when you take it out. As you can see, it's stiffer than a valve spring, but of that sort of order. And then there's a collar that goes down the middle of it with a screw in the bottom of it. I can just get this in focus for you. And you can see I had some difficulty getting that screw out. I just about managed to get it out before I completely wrecked it. So be careful with that. I'm not quite sure whether it's because it was under tension or whether it was just a little bit corroded. But anyway, so the interesting thing is to compare the heavy duty springs with the old springs. And they're just slightly longer. Whether that's natural compression, I'm not sure. Whether the coils are slightly thicker on the new ones. But we'll get a vernier on it and have a look at that in a minute. So in the middle of the cap there, you can see what looks like the head of a bolt that's come through from the other side, the head of the screw that retains the spring into the cap. But actually that's not a head of the screw, it's actually a burred over head of the screw. So it's been bashed over with some sort of tool, presumably to keep the screw in place. Now, I didn't notice this when I first did this, and I had to drill the first two out because I couldn't get the screws out. So now what I'm doing is just taking the edge off the thread with the Dremel, and then the screws are coming out fine. I'll show you what I mean when I put the new screw in. You'll see the difference. And here's number 4 again with the new screw put into place, and you can see the threads sticking through there. And now we need to burr that over. And here we are, number 4 again, with the threads burnished over or burred over, so hopefully there's no risk of the screw coming undone and creating havoc in our clutch. So here is my improvised spring compressor. It's the drill press, and I'm pushing the deck of the drill press down onto the base, and you can see through the slot there underneath here we've got our cap and our spring, and I'm just in this case undoing the screw and the top. But as I say, probably a valve spring compressor would do the job just as well. So here we are all back together again. The 8 new clutch springs have been put in place. I'm just taking it out for a 5-mile run around, and there's a marginal difference in terms of the biting point on the clutch. It's slightly improved and there's more bite to the clutch now. The juddering has gone, which is very interesting. It used to have a slight to moderate judder on occasions, and that's completely gone. And interestingly, if you look at the springs here, the springs I took out, you can see a variation in the height, maybe of up to 1/8 of an inch on some of them. You probably can't see it terribly well on this, but I suspect that may be the root of the cause of the juddering. So we'll give it a longer test and see how it goes, but I think it's a good result.